Labor comprises both public and private sectors. Migrant workers can receive a set of comprehensive services throughout the stages of migration, from recruitment to pre-departure orientation to return and re-migration. It's completely a legal phenomenon. The details contained in a Ministry of Gender Migrant Labor report indicate that at least an average of 24,000 Ugandans leave the country annually in search of employment, especially to the Middle East countries. Countries that have signed a bilateral agreement, countries like Saudi Arabia, share the largest recruiting share because of the security guarantee that comes with it. However, there are lots of controversies surrounding this sector. This is because it's a sensitive issue that is related to human rights. Recently, 15 labor export companies have been suspended due to issues concerning human trafficking, accumulated refund claims, forgery of renewal documents. The Workers' Member of Parliament, Honorable Byakatonda Abdul, says that most people are going abroad because they are desperate, and the workers that don't go through a streamlined manner complicate their situations.
Lack of unemployment in the country. And then the other thing, there's perception that I think there is higher pay in the recipient countries. But suffice to mention there are a number of challenges, and in the wake of this global trade in border organs, I think that one I'm opposed to it, and I feel I'm urging government to ensure that we make factories, like we are talking about factories, so that we abuse of our youngsters. Diplomatically, I think that is a diplomatic way of saying slavery has come back. Because if, as a country, we need these energies. Who are the people going out abroad? These are people who are between 18 and I think 35. This constitutes the very productive age that the country needs. So if you are I think what I'm urging government is that let's know how many industries are we having, and how many people can we absorb. If it is a matter of ensure that we cause a budget, let's cause a budget and ensure that we absorb more. If you are talking of the party development model, let's actually talk of processing right from the family, the household, such that we can even employ. If a household can employ 10 people, then it means that one, they are starting with the family to give them jobs, and then they're also giving other community members jobs. At the end of the day, we may not actually need to export labor, or it can reduce. As it is now, everybody is, even married women are going. They will say, let me go. My husband should remain with children, and I Gandhi, and make money. So I think that's a situation of disparity. That situation needs to be checked, and I think we need the enabling laws so that we reduce it, and then ensure that as a way of agency, government comes out with programs to absorb. Because they are talking of industrial hubs. But I want to know how many industrial sites they are talking of this. How many can we absorb in terms of offering employment? Such that at least we reduce. Because we need this labor more than any other country. While others are working for us to be running, so that we catch up with them. Because the story has been Hong Kong, Taiwan, from the time of independence in the 60s, we are at the same level as Ugandans. But because of our situation of wars that were there, our situation of maybe lack of technology, our situation of maybe because of capital, that's why we are back at tracking. But we need now to step up our efforts and ensure that a strategic direction is done to move in that direction and then employ our people. And what I want to urge Ugandans, let's go in a streamlined manner. Because most people are actually going through other porous border countries and you go outside. So they will actually even remove your border organs without anybody knowing. So we need to use streamlined approaches when we are going to this. And every day we are getting cases. People they go, when they are going to the honeymoon, but when they go the other side, it becomes hell to a number of people. They are writing to you. I think every day I write letters to these companies that export labor, telling them, please do this. Then the company is telling you, oh, somebody is ill in Saudi Arabia. But again, they're asking for family to contribute 2.5 so that they repatriate the person. That's not proper. There must be streamlined approaches.
Frank Mugabe, the head of communications from the Ministry of Gender and Labor, says the government has tried to engage with these countries where Ugandans go to work.
Issues of human rights of Ugandans who work abroad, especially in the Middle East. And we have been engaging on several levels, country to country, companies to companies, individuals to individuals, to try and resolve this. You'd like to know that we work very closely with the UN Agency on Immigration, IOM, and we are trying to find solutions to this. There are different forums where companies that externalize labor and those that are at the receiving end, we sit down around round table and discuss the emerging issues. And on several occasions, you have seen the Minister of Gender, Labour and Social Development, the Honorable Among Betty, going to different countries in the Middle East to have discussions with those countries. She meets the ministers, she meets the companies that place these people. She has even gone to some of the facilities where Ugandans actually work. And all this is to ensure that the arising issues of mistreatment of Ugandans there are stopped. And it's very good that we are now trying to see that the governments, the other side that receive Ugandans, are getting more and more serious on ensuring that Ugandans are safe.
Awan Ayebare Sarafina, who was a domestic worker in Saudi Arabia, shares an encouraging story with us and how beneficial it was to her life.
Nze nave Uganda nga nsayinize emitwalo 9. Kati bwe natuuka eri mukama wange nanyongeramu ne ntandika okufuna akakadde. Kati nagezaako okusevinga sente omwezi bwe mbanga ngezezaako nsevinga mitwalo 6 nga ntodeko sente ezirabirira abaana. Kati bwe nakomawo Uganda nazimba ennyumba yange ya mabaati 68 ate nagula n'ekibanja.
The CEO of Prospects International Limited, a labor export company, Isaac Kachama, highlighted some of the training some of their casual workers undertake to keep their jobs.
Please tell our candidates is that, like for the girls, is that they should avoid 4 areas of trouble. Number 1, which is getting love relationships with the husbands, the men in the homes. Number 2, we always encourage them to avoid child battering. Number 3, we always tell them to avoid the temptation to steal. And then lastly, we always tell them to avoid the temptation to go into open conflict with the families. Those are mainly the 4 sources of conflict in the home environment. Outside that, all the other issues are manageable. Whenever these workers have issues in their homes, we come in and intervene. We talk to our partners in the countries of deployment. We talk to the sponsors, the employers, and the situation changes. So the issues that we hear of in the press, those are the few outlier cases. But they are very, very few. Only that they are always magnified and it looks as if it is the norm. But overall, 99.9% of the candidates always go through their contracts.
The number of migrant workers deployed per destination countries have the females taking up the biggest percentage, as the males take up only 10%. This is because most of them are single mothers that would rather work abroad where they earn much better than they would in Uganda, where they would make as little as 50 to 100,000 Ugandan shillings. Ronnie Mukundane, the Public Relations of Uganda Association of Recruitment Agencies, says that social media has been a challenge. People upload video clips that evoke emotions in people, intensifying the matter.
That also can be very dangerous. And what we're seeing, some of the effects, the diverse or intense effects of social media.
He adds that the government is always willing to take action in matters that arise concerning the human rights of Ugandans abroad.
That could have suffered the same fate was a licensed recruitment company and performed its duties within the law. For where they fell short, they were suspended. And of course, the latest lists we have, they are not there. So I cannot say they are still suspended. The government has removed them, maybe it has revoked or taken a different action. But for what is important is for whoever has traveled through the Middle East or could still be the other side, becomes now a responsibility of the Minister of Gender. I think that's the most important part. So it is the law, yes, makes it clear that the ministry or the government can license you today. If you do not follow, they can delicense you or they can suspend you. But within that period, if you have deployed people or you've externalized people, the responsibility now goes back to the Ministry of Gender to be able to take care of these people should they need any form of assistance.
As the economy continues to recover from the effects of COVID-19, the unemployment levels are still high. And perhaps that's the reason most Ugandans continue to seek jobs abroad. Despite the controversies surrounding this, there is always hope for the best. Rona Nahabwe, Smart 20.